On October the 12th, the Church celebrates the feast day of Blessed Carlo Acutis, the 15-year-old boy from Milan who died on October the 12th, 2006 from fulminant leukemia. In his short life, Carlo earned the nickname God's Influencer because of his strong witness of faith. Following his death, thousands journeyed from around the world to the Umbrian city of Assisi, where Carlo spent long periods of his life, and where his body now lies permanently exposed.
Obviously, being a boy of our times, he lived that which all young people of his generation live. So computers, video games, soccer, school, friends, everything that is normal to us. But of course, he really knew everything that is ordinary is able to be transformed into the extraordinary.
Tutto ciò che è ordinario trasformarlo in straordinario.
Carlo's parents, Andrea and Antonia, were not very religious when their son was born in London on May the 3rd, 1991. A few months after his birth, they resettled in Milan, where Carlo received his first communion at 7 years of age. His devotion, directed especially to the Eucharist and to Our Lady, led him to attend daily Mass, to pray the Rosary regularly, and to go to confession weekly.
Carlo, I always say, was for me a little savior, because usually in families, it is the family that passes on the faith, but in my case, it was the opposite. It is Carlo who, in fact, Carlo, I saw him a bit like a father, an authoritative figure. I did not see him so much as a son. That is, I felt him, yes, a son, but I also saw him as something more, because Carlo had this authority that was given to him by his closeness to Jesus. That was perceptible.
Carlo studied in Milan at the Jesuit Istituto Leone XIII High School. Outside school, he volunteered with charities helping the homeless and destitute. He also liked watching films, creating videos and comics, and playing video games on his PlayStation. He loved to travel, but his favorite place was Assisi, only a few hundred miles from his home in Milan.
Lui era molto bravo a riprendere, a fare film.
He was very good at recording, making films, and even using computers. Moreover, Pope Francis, in Christus Vivit, which was the closing document of the Youth Synod, wanted to dedicate a chapter to Carlo, in which he presents Carlo to all young people all over the world as a model for how he was able to use the means of communication. Above all, what he did are these exhibitions, in particular the one about Our Lady, the one about Eucharistic miracles, which he then, you could say by extraordinary coincidences, but especially, in our opinion, through the Lord's will, then spread all over the world.
Si sono diffuse in tutto il mondo.
Those around him considered him a computer geek on account of his passion and skill with computers and the internet. At the age of 11, Acutis began building a website dedicated to cataloging each reported Eucharistic miracle in the world. He completed this in 2005, a year before his death.
The exhibition on Eucharistic miracles was something that engaged him from when he was about 11 years old, the period that he began to be an assistant catechist in the parish. Because he had asked to be a catechism helper, and then sometimes he was able to teach the catechism classes by himself, because he was a very prepared boy, very ahead of those who were his age.
When he developed leukemia, he offered his suffering for Pope Benedict XVI and for the Church. Carlo Acutis died on October the 12th, 2006, when he was only 15 years old. He was buried in Assisi in accordance with his wishes. On July the 5th, 2018, he was declared venerable by Pope Francis. With this title, the Church recognized that Carlo lived the Christian virtues heroically. In November of 2019, a positive opinion was given on the miracle attributed to his intercession, and on February the 21st, 2020, Pope Francis recognized the miracle. The beatification celebration took place in Assisi on October the 10th, 2020. He's the patron of the internet and of young people. The body of the young blessed, whose tomb is in the shrine of the Dispossession in Assisi, has been on permanent display since June 1st, 2022, and is visited by many pilgrims. Young people in particular are moved by the life of Carlo Acutis and come to meditate and pray at his tomb.